All right, who here has still got their wisdom teeth? Anybody? I don't. They're gone. All of them. Left the
I
building
do.
years ago. Yeah, it was a painless procedure. I don't remember any of it because I think they put a needle in me or did something, a gas mask, and they said count backwards from 10 to 1. And I remember making it to 7, and that was it. And then I woke up, and my mom was carrying me to the car, and I was a little puffy for a day or two, and I got this little syringe that I could shoot water into the hole that was left, but I used it more to torture the cat that we had rather than cleaning out the gunk for my teeth because this was a lot more fun. And the syringe, it shoots, man. I'm just stream of water. I'm not a cat kind of guy. The dog, when I'd shoot it, well, you see, I lost my wisdom teeth, so that explains the idiotic behavior. No wisdom. Okay, no wisdom here. Got a top 5 list for wisdom teeth removal. No, not a DIY project. Tim decided to write in. He says, "Hello, Chris. Been watching your YouTube videos for almost a year now, and occasionally I make it into your chat room with the handle Sergio. I recently had my wisdom teeth removed, and I wanted to share my tips on how to deal with the operation with the rest of the community. So without further ado, here are my top 5 tips for wisdom teeth removal. Number 1, generally speaking, the younger one is, the easier getting the procedure done will be. This doesn't mean get it done before your baby teeth are all gone, but if your dentist suggests that they should be removed, it's best to get them done at the earliest opportunity. My oral surgeon showed me my teeth when he was done and said that the way my roots were shaped, the process would have been very difficult if I had waited until I was older to have the teeth removed. True. Number 2, when the procedure is over, your first priority is to create a clot. Your gums will be bleeding, and the oral surgeon or his or her assistant will have to put gauze in the back of your mouth. It's important to clench your jaw down on the gauze, as the pressure will expedite the clotting process. You should change the gauze when you get home and repeat the process. When removing the gauze, be sure to do so gently, as not to remove the clotted blood from the area. This part of the process was by far most uncomfortable for me. I had a great deal of trouble getting my gums to clot and stop bleeding. After the 3rd round of gauze, I was still bleeding. I used moist tea bags wrapped in gauze, and after about 20 minutes of clenching my jaw, the bleeding finally stopped. Number 3, eat before taking painkillers. It's very important to have a full stomach before taking painkillers, especially the strong ones you will more than likely be prescribed. Although you will be very limited as far as your diet is concerned, you must eat something. Pudding, jello, and yogurt are good if you are really sore. You may even have to swallow pancakes and french fries if you eat them slowly and in small pieces. Either way, be sure to eat before taking your painkillers, as this will prevent you from getting a stomachache, feeling nauseous, or otherwise reacting negatively toward the drugs. Number 4, ice like it's your job. Ice both sides of your face on your lower and upper jaw at 20-minute intervals. Be sure to have 4 small ice packs, 2 for each side of your face. Ice for 20 minutes with 2 of the packs, then have all the 4 packs in the freezer for another 20 minutes, then ice with the other 2 packs for 20. So basically alternate back and forth. Set an alarm to go off at 20-minute intervals, as it's easy to lose track of time. And by the way, I use this to set timers if I need to. If I'm trying to track time, I think it's available for the iPod Touch as well, but the iPhone certainly has it where you can track a countdown timer. It's a great way to keep time. Most importantly, number 5, listen to your oral surgeon. Sorry to shout, but this is incredibly important. His or her advice trumps all of these other tips. He or she will have much more experience than this particular person, Tim, does on these matters. For instance, he may have you icing at different intervals or forming a clot differently, etc. It's important that you follow all the advice and directions given by your oral surgeon exactly. Failure to do so could result in taking longer to heal or worse. Ask your oral surgeon for a list of instructions and bring a legal pad and pen to the surgery. That way you can write down all the instructions. He might be giving you documentation. If they didn't, then you can write it down. And you don't want to do that the day of the surgery because you may be hopped up, I should say, on Valium or some other kind of painkiller. You also can't drive, so make sure you've arranged to have someone to take you back and forth. from the appointment. But I think his top tip here is number one. If you've got wisdom teeth, even if they're not bothering you today, I know I'm not an expert, and if the dentist or the whoever the surgeon says you don't need to get them pulled, I would say just get it looked at, because the last thing you want to have happen is something bad. I'm very glad that my wisdom teeth were pulled. In fact, at a recent trip to the dentist, it was recommended that I get braces. 34 years old, and he's asking me to get braces. I don't know if they're on vogue or what, but I think I'm going to deal with getting a mouth guard so at night I don't, grind my teeth as I tend to do when I'm stressed out or sleeping. It's important. Remember, we've talked to Greg Birch about this stuff. We were showing off the Sonicare and then the Ultreo, the toothbrushes. Taking care of your mouth is important. You don't want to be a yuck mouth because you don't brush. Flossing is also important, although I never do it. Yeah. So anyway, there's some tips for dealing with getting your wisdom teeth pulled. Good suggestions. I'd be interested if anybody else has got any other tips for dealing with pain. How do you deal with pain effectively? Good tips, not the obvious ones. Obviously painkillers, given, we're geeks around here, but we do have to deal with health issues. That's why I like asking for health tips if you got them to pass along. This is a good thing to talk about, especially if you've been dreading it. If they've told you and you haven't done it, that's your problem. Don't come to the chat room and say, "Oh, my tooth hurts, oh, it hurts." Well, then go get it checked out if it hurts. People don't like the dentist at all, and I guess out of all the professions in the world, the dentists have the highest rate of suicide. And I live in Seattle, and I guess we have the highest rate of suicide in the entire country. So being a dentist in Seattle has got to be one of the world's worst jobs. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't done one of those on dirty jobs yet, although it's not really a dirty job. Well, depending on the mouth that they're diving into. I've seen some pretty dirty mouths just from, the outside. Any other way, you're welcome to join us. We're typically talking tech in the chat room. Every once in a while, we venture into other topics, like tonight. And we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at one place and one place alone. Live.perillo.com. We'll see you later.